How you doing, YouTube? Matt Master Beer Reviews, back with old-timey beer time. What do you mean old-timey beer time? It's single shot from Treehouse. It's not any more new school than this. Yeah. It is June 2019 single shot beer time. I'm kind of curious about this. I think I did an older version of one of these shot beers. I don't know if it was single shot. Usually Max or Steven are good for a mystery beer from Treehouse from time to time. Steven more specifically for some of the age stuff. But this can come courtesy of my boy Keith. He dropped it off. We are doing science. So let's get at it. Decided to go a little proper glassware for you guys. We'll see what's what. Give it a hefty pour in there. I mean, it looks way bigger than its 6.4% alcohol by volume. Label-wise, I've always dug the shot labels. They're cool. I've always liked Treehouse's labels. So, beer-wise, that head is dissipating infinitely quickly. It has this kind of aggressive, spritzy kind of soda kind of carbonation thing that's dying. Started off way over a pinky finger. Now it's just kind of dissipating down to nothing. With this super dark, way darker than what you'd expect from a 6% kind of stout thing going on. So, looks the part. The carbonation's kind of weird to see a beer like this. Anyway, let's see if we can get a nose. I get ever so slightest bit of soft milk stout vibes. Done. No coffee, no big roasted malts. It really is just a soft, very gentle on the nose, soft milk stout. Done and done. Almost like an export stout level kind of nose on it. So let's dive in. Cheers. It's not too shabby. Way sweeter than the nose will lead you to believe. The coffee's completely 100% gone. There's a decent pop of bittering on here. I'm not going to attribute all of that to the coffee. I think it's a combination of roasted malt, hops, and coffee thing, so I guess it stuck around in that sense a little bit. It's very, very sweet. Very sweet. And the way this beer comes off with that bittering on one side and the sweetness on another, it's almost like, a lot of times you have beers that, they have sharp edges, big peaks of sharpness to them, whether it be that lactose for a beer like this, the lactose, the sweetness in the malt, the bittering from the coffee itself. And my kind of, you drink one of these hyper fresh, and I'm like, well, everything's there. Everything's very explosive, very tasty, but everything's individualized. It's not melded together. It needs like a month or two, or maybe 6 months or so to kind of merge together and become rounded in one whole kind of flavor. It tastes like this beer has done that and completed and kind of gone past that stage to now where all I get is a peak of sweetness, a peak of bittering, and kind of a void down the middle. Not a negative thing. There's no off flavor. There's no bad kind of oxidation age stuff going on here. As you can see, the carbonation's still alive. It just kind of, it's hard to explain. If I try to go back to the same analogy, you have those peaks, the bittering and sweet on one side. The way it kind of peaks in a certain way, it's a bit wider of a peak on each side. And then when they pass each other, it becomes thinner of a peak, so where it's a more kind of singular kind of sweetness on one end and a singular kind of bitterness on the other. Which makes not for a great beer, but it doesn't make for an offensive beer. And just kind of a cool, interesting kind of like science experiment for something, what is it, a year and a half old? 2019. Yeah, so a little bit over a year and a half old. Yeah. There you go. So a little science experiment, not really a beer review in general. I didn't think the beer was going to be all that amazing. If it was, that would have been a great kind of surprise. But a fun little experiment in the books. The coffee's totally gone. You'd expect that bittering, while still there, probably isn't close to what it used to be. The sweetness has retained. It's just become a bit sharper and more singular. There you go. I'm not even going to talk about it as one of the better milk stouts. Is this, that, and the other thing. I'm not going to talk about it because I knew going into this probably wasn't going to hold up all that well. It was just a fun video to shoot. Sometimes we can do that. So there you go. reviewing the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it, Massive Beers. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff, Beer Massif. If you want to check me out doing the podcasting stuff, hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of single shot, fresh, mind you, over some old stuff. And hope to see you next time. Cheers.